And good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Mr. Kasarian.
And this is Tecker.
And welcome back to another episode of our SMP series, episode number 18.
We are quite a ways in.
Yeah, we are. So, Tecker, what are you working on today?
Today I am working on finishing up the harvester, planter, and sled boiler that I spoke about from last episode, as well as the autonomous activator, as well as making it so that I can continue on with expanding the Mac, because I do not like how long it takes in order to craft items. And because, well, I like very, very fast machines, and yours is not.
Fair enough. I am finishing up the nuke plant, which has actually been running on my second monitor in my test environment for about 3 hours now. And it's yet to detonate itself, so I think it's doing a pretty good job.
Oh, and also, what I'm also going to do is I'm going to run a precision import over to our item conduit, or rather our mob farm.
Yep. Do you have the sorting set up on that so it doesn't flood us with trash drops?
I don't have it set up yet, but I will work on that as well this episode.
Okay.
Now, one of the things that I did see when I was actually looking through the videos, we aren't doing nearly enough jump cuts. So, I figure if we're just crafting things, then we should probably be doing jump cuts.
Alright, that sounds fair. So, what I'm setting up right now is the... Hey, baby zombie. It's day... Oh, you're wearing a hat. That's why. I'm setting up the way that we're actually going to get our nuclear material into the reactor. Alright? So, basically, it's pretty simple. Item conduit, Ender IO, output of the chest. Inserting into the reactor on the top. You can only insert into the fuel cores from the top. Alright. Now this has meant some adjustments on my steam lines. You can see they're not quite as low to the reactor anymore. Just to give me a bit of space with which to work. Hey! What? How did the zombie attack? I don't even know. Now, you also may notice as I'm working on this that Reika's hitboxes are a little creative some days. Even though these look like they're partial blocks, their actual hitboxes are full block.
That's kind of strange.
Actually, it's to prevent lag.
Yeah, that makes sense. Instead of having tile entities, you can have actual tiles.
Yep. So, though I'm not certain why these baby zombies aren't dying to the sunlight, but that's okay.
Well, currently I am also working on making it so that we can automatically do basically anything, because we have that really great IC2 room that we haven't done enough with. And so I'm also automating that today.
Awesome. So the other thing I'm going to need for this nuclear power plant is I'm going to need some turbines. And thankfully, I have them all set up right here. Now, you guys are pretty lucky that we have applied energistics, because these are not the easiest things in the world to craft.
They are a pain.
They really are. They are actually worse than railcraft turbines, which I thought were pretty bad when I first started using them. But they look awesome when they're set up.
Yes,
right.
They do. Even if they're set up in, 8x8 formation, as one of the players on our server did.
So, if you notice, I just right-clicked, and they refuse to be placed, and there's a reason for that, because they don't have enough space. You need to give them a fair amount of room, and then when you give them that room... Nope, we need a little bit more room still. Yeah, these aren't small buildings, guys.
No, they're not.
A little bit more room there, maybe?
Do you have your hammer that I can grab, because our quarry isn't working fast enough towards getting all of the stuff that I want?
My hammer?
Yes.
Hold on for a split second. I think I'm running into...
Oh my. I did not even...
There we go.
I haven't come over here since, I leveled out the grass. This is different.
Different, huh?
I was not expecting this. So, I do have one question for you.
Yes.
Why are these two item conduits that are sitting right next to each other and not connected?
So they don't cross loop?
Okay. Only slightly concerned.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a full turbine. If you notice, I did have a few issues getting it to connect. I'm missing... Do you have a steam pipe on you?
Let me open my inventory.
This should need to be up this high. Whoa, why is it... Oh gosh.
Because of my magnet. And
All
yes, I did happen to have one.
I'm just trying to figure out why it feels like it's eating up more space than it needs to.
That I am not sure.
There we go. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is a full-size turbine.
Yep.
They're a little big. And this is a steam grate, which is actually how we're going to get the steam out of our plant and into the environment where it can spin this massive turbine. Right? Right. And of course, Nick's going to be looking at it and going, oh god, the frame rate drops as soon as it starts spinning.
No, my computer's pretty decent. It's just I need to get an NVIDIA card instead.
Very true.
But yeah, as soon as I get that, I'll just be like, frame lag? What?
Exactly. Now, we have a couple more things to work on here, and it's going to involve... Really? Rain again? Boy, you'd almost think we were on Forgecraft.
Basically.
Sorry, bad joke. It's going to involve a fair amount of crafting steps, because not only do we have to get the fuel into the reactor, but we then have to get nuclear waste back out of the reactor. And now the thing I'm realizing right now is that I don't have enough fluid pipes.
Now, where is your hammer, sir, so that I can go mining?
Oh, my hammer. You mean my T-Con hammer? Oh,
yes.
Right. Here, let me just put it in a chest so things don't derp out on us. It's in the B chest. There you go.
Thank you.
I don't think that one actually has fortune on it, though.
I do not need fortune.
Okay.
I just need to go mining. And because I know exactly at which level this block spawns, I will have no problem.
Am I correct in saying that they changed the spawn heights for Monster?
Yes, they change the spawn rates for every single pack that they make, simply because it is easier to do that than to basically make your own blocks. Because for each pack, having them at different heights makes it so that things are easier or harder to get, which is what everyone wants. Because at some point, you don't want your copper to be at level 40, at level 25 to 45. At some point, you might want it to be lower than that or higher.
Right.
So,
or in a more tightly defined area, or,
So it's all in the config options, and it's
okay.
very easy to change.
And that's why everyone uses thermal expansion spawning.
No, actually. A lot of people right now are actually using metallurgy.
Really?
Because metallurgy, you can literally set absolutely everything up to the exact block height of everything, and everything works completely fine with it. Now, there are a lot of people who don't like metallurgy because it also adds in about 70 to 80 different types of blocks. But then you could say the same exact thing about Geostrata.
Right.
So I don't really see the issue, other than I don't really particularly enjoy Geostrata myself, but I know that you do.
I do. It pretty blocks.
Yes, I'm fine with pretty blocks, so long as it doesn't make it so that I have to store 17 different types of the same block.
It's a challenge.
I do not like having to store 17 blocks of the same.
For heaven's sakes, we could just build a 64K ME drive, or one of the 3 meg ones from Extra Cells, and just pre-assign it and call it a day.
Yeah, that's probably what I would do if I even had any idea what the partition editor does, because I still am fairly new to the entire system behind AE. The only thing that I've done AE on is a little bit of it on this server, and the rest of it is on Agrarian Skies, which I've only gone through about 7 times now.
So that's one of the things about YouTubing stuff. You have to take things a lot slower.
And I understand that, but my issue probably with when I go ahead and start making videos on YouTube is I'll probably record about the first 10 episodes before I even finish uploading the first.
Oh, I know. I mean, just to let my viewers know, the time I'm recording this on the 21st. All right? So it's going to be almost a week before you guys actually see this go live. Actually, I will admit, I recorded pretty much all of next week's footage today.
And that isn't abnormal for you, is it?
No, not at all. It's
the
way my schedule works,
And see, that's why YouTube is so great for me, because I have plenty of time to record, but it's when no one is awake, because I have a nighttime job. Or rather, I have a second shift job, and so the only time that I'm actually awake is late at night. So,
yep.
So, I am going back out to mining.
Yep, and I'm going to be building the actual containment unit for this turbine. So I'll bring you guys back in once we're done with the boring stuff. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, and we are almost ready to get our reactor running. Now, I don't think in this episode we'll be able to turn everything on to actually start generating the RF we want. We have a bunch more steps to get to there, mostly because this reactor is generating far too much power right now for us to actually use it. All right? There's too much power. All right? Now, we haven't turned it on quite yet, but what we're doing is we're basically outputting our power directly into this generator here. And then we're going to use this gold cable from Electrocraft to spread that power through a series of generators and converters that are basically going to turn that power down into and cross-convert it down into RF for us, at least partially. Now I'm hoping there isn't too much information on Electrocraft that's out there, but what I'm hoping is that this cable doesn't blow itself up as soon as we start using it. But we have one last thing we need to get set before we can actually start using our nuclear reactor. Because Nick and I don't want to kill ourselves. Yeah. We're going to need to get some radiation shielding. Or some basically hazmat suits for us. Now, although my armor is nice and shiny, it's not going to protect me from, hazardous radiation and nuclear reactors and that sort of stuff. And thankfully I have plenty of leather. And then, Nick, do you remember how many of a material is needed for a full armor set of that type?
24.
24.
The only reason why I know that is because I've spent way too much time playing this game. I'm closing in on 16,000 hours. I've been playing this since InfDev.
Alright, so we got our hazmat helm. We got some hazmat leggings. We got a hazmat chest piece.
I'm going to clear out our IC2 rubber farm for the usage of our other rubber farm.
Okay, that's not a big deal because we can also turn propolis into rubber.
Well, that's fine and dandy, but I feel like doing it this way.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying we don't need IC2 rubber because, you know.
Performance.
Right. And just to make this nice and pretty, we're going to get ourselves a pair of armor stands.
Now, are these armor stands going to be right in the entryway so that, we can put those on before we go into the clean room?
Yeah, as soon as we actually get a building around the reactor. Because right now it's just a reactor shielding, an open-top reactor, and the turbine room.
Well, at least I have my airbending abilities so that we can, blow away any irradiated air if a, 3 Mile Island happens.
I sincerely doubt it. I've honestly had my
I don't trust nuclear reactors, period. So you saying that, oh, it's been tested and everything, yeah, I still don't think so. We're still dealing with the power of the sun.
Well, almost. I mean, it's not a fusion plant, but,
Hey, we're pretty close to getting that anyway.
I don't even know if the Reactor Craft fusion plant has ever been built legit.
I don't know either, but I want to.
I do too, but I'm hearing numbers like 30,000, what was the number I heard? 30,000 magnetite is needed? Or 40,000 or 300,000? I don't remember.
Either way, it's a butt ton.
So if you guys notice, I am now wearing my shiny hazmat suit.
I still remember the hazmat suit that I used to play with.
Yep.
That was quite a while ago. Because... Oh...
And we're going to get ourselves not depleted uranium, but actual uranium fuel pellets.
No...
And we're going to get about 3 stacks of them. Why not? This is a basic test of our plant. Alright? We just want to make sure that it powers up, that the turbine spins, and that we produce steam. Now we have one other thing we need to build so that Nick doesn't kill me for lagging the crap out of the server.
Yeah, I like to, complain about that all the time because, well... Even the solar, system from Reactor Craft lagged our server to insane lengths, so...
Oh, that's unfortunate.
What?
Looks like item ducts aren't recognizing the inventory inputs.
Fun. Do you mean item ducts or item conduits?
Item conduits.
Okay, let me get over there with a crescent hammer.
Yeah, you want to take a look at it too, make sure I haven't derped something up?
Oh, sure you have. Just...
Well, it's also sometimes Reactor Craft does some interesting things with item in, item out stuff.
Oh, right. Sure, but it's still probably user error.
Yeah. The thing is that I know... Well, we could do it that way, I guess.
Okay, what are we trying to do today?
Uranium from chest into reactor.
Okay, those are all on insert. And... Dude.
Oh, I forgot to switch it over to,
Active without signal.
Yep. I forget they default to that. There we go. You may want to go put on your rad suit, dude.
And this is for making me run over here.
Ow. Okay, so...
How did that deal 4 damage?
The rad suit actually gives you a penalty.
Okay,
so everyone, see the little black dots that are flying out of the reactor?
Those are the neutrons.
Those are neutrons. In Reactor Craft, you can see them. Oh, interesting. I think they are actually, unless my screen's just glitching out, they are actually now flying in all directions, too.
So we do need to cover the top. So how much more concrete?
We should have plenty of concrete. So you see that our temperature is quickly rising up towards 100 degrees Celsius.
Which we believe.
90, 91. Any second now, we should see steam. We are now generating steam. See how the water's ticking down and ticking back up? It's because we are actually generating steam. Now we want to make sure that our water level in all of these boilers stays constant before we leave this thing alone. I'm not seeing anything dropping low. The one in the rear corner is worrying me a little bit, but not overly much. And we should start seeing, if I open up the turbine room, that we do have a spinning turbine.
And how many RF per tick does that generate again?
Off the top of my head, I don't remember, but a couple thousand? No, more than that. Like 20,000?
25,000?
Yeah, something like that.
25,600 or so?
Now let's make sure we're actually getting output torque.
Because I still remember you telling me that, and then giving me the conversion rate. I have an almost eidetic memory, so...
Ah. Oh, right, okay, that's how I've derped this up. Why did it... Interesting. Apparently there's a texture derp.
Texture derp on what?
One of the Electrocraft engines. So let's connect... Okay, I'm going to need a bedrock shaft. Let's make sure our reservoir is staying full. Reservoir is staying full. This is our coolant pool, by the way. We'll get there when we need to. And the reactor looks like it's stable. Which is good, because there's no good way to...
Oh my god! Stop it!
What? What?
The fact that we just went through about 4 saplings in about 2 seconds. Because of how quickly that system works. Yeah, I'll be able to show you that in a second. I just need to set up an item conduit with some...
By the way, guys, whatever you do not use anything other than bedrock shafts connected to this thing. And please don't try and charge an industrial coil off this. It will charge it all right in about half a second, and then it'll explode, taking part of your reactor with it. And even a stable reactor, if it loses part of itself, like, say, the water supply blew up, this thing would overheat. Especially this type of reactor where there isn't really an off switch.
Yeah, and that's why I kind of want to slap him, but I can't.
It's a very cheap reactor.
Yes, but there's a difference between cheap and it blowing up.
Well, yes.
And I do not like things that blow up, and you know this.
Alright, so our shaft is turning. I just need something like an angular transducer. No, well, my angular transducer isn't actually showing how much power is going into it.
Okay, and then I need a whole bunch of... No, I do not need ME cable, I need ME conduit.
Oh, that's what's going on here. Okay. I derped this up. Alright, so... One thing you have to make sure of is that your steam has some place it can escape to.
So you... Can I please slap you?
I'm violating a minor law of physics, don't worry about me.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the other thing you do not want to do when you're working around this reactor is in any way fall into these turbine blades.
Yeah, the turbine blades don't tend to like that. They tend to explode.
Yeah, turbine blades are really fragile.
Yes, they are.
You do not want to accidentally bump them, jar them, or in any other way disturb them.
And, of course, I still need 1 precision input.
Hey, remember that time it took us like an hour to figure out how to fix Fargo's reactor?
It took us more than an hour. No, wait. No, that was in that one, actually. And, of course, I'm still missing the exact same thing, which is the service quartz dust. I am not happy.
So as you guys just saw on my screen, the turbines do have some tolerance for you running into them.
Just not much, and especially if they're very.
Yeah, and I think these are actually, this one's spinning at a relatively low speed right now.
Yeah, that sounds about right. And yay! We've got Certus quartz.
Hoorah! We've been running low on Certus quartz for about the past day.
Apparently our quarry finally ran into some.
We should really get a quarry plus quarry going.
Yeah, how big can those get?
Yes.
I enjoy your answer to that.
I'm not certain what the practical limit is, but...
I don't care. Iron chest is what I need. And I still need the conduits.
Alright guys, so I apologize if my screen display is derping a little bit. I'm not certain why that's happening.
He tends to not know why a lot of things are happening.
Not that bad. Actually, I think it's something to do with the bending.
It probably is. Use /B space clear. Oh wait, your system is off, so.
Yep, my entire chat's shut down right now.
Yeah, so don't worry about it. We'll figure it out.
So what it's doing is it's causing the rotary craft input-output boxes to flicker.
Ah.
And the rotary craft textures to flicker on and off as well.
So, I happen to have a question for you guys.
Yes.
How do you use precision import cables to specify a specific item? Because I do not want the saplings going into our system, but I want everything else to.
I think you place it, right-click, and filter it like you would in export. I think.
Because I already have it so that, like, the item duct that I have connected to it knows that it's supposed to be extracting the rubber saplings and putting them into the planter.
Right.
But how do I set it up so that so that the precision import bus doesn't take them out?
I think you just place the import bus down, right-click on it to open its information panel.
Yep.
And
then
I think that's a blacklist control in that panel.
It's a blacklist control, not a whitelist.
Yes, I believe so. I think. Okay. I've never actually used that functionality, strangely enough.
Well,
I usually do most of my pre-sorting with item ducts.
Well, I'm going to test that theory.
Yeah. I tend to use ME sparingly because of the energy cost requirements.
And it's a whitelist.
Okay, it is.
So I now have all the items that this system will produce. And there we go. So now I can just let this go.
Awesome.
So now we have basically as much rubber as our system can produce.
Nice. I approve.
And I just set it so that moves stacks. So, yeah, we shouldn't have an issue getting rubber.
I wholeheartedly approve. And I am about to craft the last part of this build that we're going to work on today. Because we're not quite ready yet to actually start turning this into power, this is a proof of concept, the reactor doesn't blow up build. And let's put this in. So if you notice, all this steam is now escaping towards the top, right? This goes up to block height, world block placement height. This will cause Nick to strangle me.
You'd better put a freaking void system up there.
You bet I am. So, we have an item in Reactor Craft called a condenser, and what it would normally be used for is condensing that liquid back down. However, this is Minecraft, water is infinite. So what we can do is, we can use those condensers and just not hook them up to anything. And if we do that, it'll end up just voiding the steam that's produced. So you won't have that nice, steam plume that you can't really see right now.
Okay, so I would like you to come over and show them our new rubber tree chopper.
Alright, just give me a second because I need to get 9 cooling fins. I'm just plugging the order into the ME system. 9 cooling fins, and I need some 3 reservoirs. Okay, what am I showing them?
It should be right over here.
Ooh, shiny.
Yes.
Very shiny, and oh my gosh. That's insane.
This is my exact setup, except instead of item conduits, I'm using item ducts in Agrarian Skies.
You have a DSU for all this, right?
I have an ME system.
You're going to need a DSU. Don't forget our base is chunk loaded.
Yeah, I realize. We will set that up before next episode, as well as I will be expanding the Mac before the next episode is air, or before we start the next episode. Because we are almost out of time, aren't we?
I believe we are actually a little over by this point.
Well,
so I am just going to finish this step just to show them how this works. And how to, properly build a nuclear reactor without lagging your server out completely.
And then are we going to share this video with absolutely everyone as soon as they build a nuclear reactor?
This and my spotlight on how to run them without blowing yourself up.
Well, that is good. We should very well put that on the front page of the website, because that's certainly an issue on our server.
Yes, it was. Yes, it is, actually. So
yeah, especially because thankfully Tyler hasn't thought of it yet, but I'm sure he will.
Well, if he watches this video, he will.
And I know that he watches our videos.
Oh boy.
So
Tyler, we love you, even if we want to kill you some days.
Some days.
Reach for the sky. You never know what you'll grab.
We'll generally grab someone's attention, though.
Ooh, we have neutrons escaping the reactor containment. I just saw one, code. It looks like it's one every,
I don't...
couple
I don't,
hundred, maybe?
I don't care. If there is even one, you are not doing your job, Kess.
We'll boost containment.
Good.
Hey, we could run it Russian style.
No.
So we're just going to place these down here, and you're going to see the steam is going to get absorbed, and there we go. So now we're not going to be glitching out everyone's graphics or causing massive amounts of lag. And I forgot to put a hole for the exit. And there we go. So we have a running reactor. It is stable. It is self-sufficient. It is right now power negative, which means that it is using more power than it's creating because it's not actually generating any power right now.
So, Kess?
Yes.
I believe I have solved our rubber issues forever.
Okay.
It has been running for about the past 3 minutes.
Uh-huh.
Do you want to know the current stats on how much rubber we have?
How much?
500.
Nice.
It generates about 100 rubber per minute.
Okay, why don't you put an ME level emitter on that?
I don't understand what that is. So you'll explain that next episode.
Indeed. This has been Mr. Kassarian.
And this has been Tekra.
And apparently this is the day of the crazy builds.
Yes.
Happy mining, everyone.